Hi there, my name's Paul Alex Gray. So what Little Remains is a story that's about identity, really. And the creatures in it are kind of vampiric, although not as cliched as the sort of the standard trope. I've made them a little bit different. And it's really about some monsters that kind of live together, trying to figure things out. And one of them is very unhappy and wants to make a change but feels trapped. So it's sort of a story about the identity of a monster, like thinking of something that is terrible and that goes out and kills people and has done really evil, horrible things, maybe reaching a point in its existence where it's starting to question, everything. So it's actually kind of funny. Originally, I came up with this story idea in a conversation with some friends when we were joking around, and it was more of a comedy back then, of a creature that steals people's skins, which is a kind of a classic story trope. And we were just joking around about this odd, I think we made him from Germany, he had a funny accent, and it was a skin-stealing monster. And that was kind of in my head for a long time as just a funny anecdote. But then I started thinking more about it and got curious as to, well, okay, what if it wasn't a comedy? What if it was something more serious? And yeah, you're really getting literally under the skin of a monster. It's very easy to look at vampires and monsters in stories as bad and evil. And yeah, they can do bad and evil things. But why are they like that? Did they start out like that? Did something change? What happens if they don't want to be like that anymore? And that really just got me thinking about it in a different light, and then I wrote it as this story. I guess you could say it's probably 15 years ago was when I first had those ideas, and then when I started to write it, it probably took about a year or so. I write stories pretty slowly and go through various drafts. And then start sharing it around with some writing friends for feedback. But yeah, I think probably the first draft would have taken around a year, and then going into that approach of submitting it to different publications and seeing if you can find it a home. No, I would not. I think as you read the story, it's a very troubling existence for these vampire creatures. So I think it's hopefully people find it interesting. That said, I mean, there's more than one character in this story, and one of them is absolutely thrilled to be what it is. So it's different perspectives. For me, it's sushi. I love sushi and sashimi. It's Happiness by Taylor Swift on her new album. I don't think I believe they visited Earth. I think there are aliens, but for whatever reason, they haven't shown up yet. A notepad and pen. I think Slipstream is a type of story that I really enjoy reading and writing. And I'm fascinated by this idea of liminal spaces. So the boundary between a world that is real and that we're very familiar with, and then a world that is unreal or different. And I love fiction where there's kind of blurred edges. So it might be something in a forest, or it could be a secret door, or it could be something that people have to do on the night of a full moon, whatever it might be. That kind of brings you a little bit closer to that magic. So when that magic bleeds into this world, that's how I kind of see Slipstream. There's a story. Who is it by? Yeah. There's a story by Lisa Wong called "Hungry Daughters of Starving Mothers," which is a sort of dark fantasy horror story, which was out in Nightmare magazine maybe 5 years ago. And it's, maybe there's some similarities even with this story. It's a great one. It's very dark and scary, also about a type of monster. I do love those tales that take a look behind the motivations of something that's bad or evil. I'll give a shout out to John Wiswell, who is an author of speculative fiction, had a lot of works published, Cast of Wonders, I think in Fireside and different magazines. So I've been really enjoying his writing recently.